A very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good. This is Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I believe you all have enjoyed your weekend and now you would be having enough energy that will take you through the new week. With this, let's start our new day and new week with a positive quote. As long as one keeps searching, the answers come. This applies on your studies as well, as far as you are searching, as far as you are curious enough to learn something new every day, you will get to your destination. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides you pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. Make sure you check out studyiq.com for to know more about pen drive and tablet courses. Now, the first article today, we have two articles that are, I believe, very important for your understanding as well as your preparation, particularly your mains examination and for your interview. The first one is pertaining to internal democracy of political parties. You know, a couple of weeks ago in one of the occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for internal democracy of within political parties. Here you can see a very funny picture, which of course it's not only funny, but it also highlights a reality of Indian political parties and how they function. If you go through all political parties, apart from left parties, right, no political party can be said entirely democratic. This article is providing some very good insight on this thing. Let's see what it has got for us. Now, if you see, like we know that BJP at present is, you can say, at its peak, right? But today, of course, we are going to have results of Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat. We don't know what the results are going to be, but so far BJP since 2014. BJP has seen a rise, and we know the popularity of Narendra Modi and things like that. But at the same time, if we see how things are going on, or you can say political rhetorics, right? You know that BJP is claiming or blaming Congress for being a dynastic party. But if we see the way BJP is working, then we find that no contest for the president's post has taken in BJP since 1980s. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind is that president's post or how president gets elected is not the sole criteria to judge how a party works, but it matters a lot. And in this sense, both the parties are on one page, right? Both, when I say both, I'm talking about the two biggest party that we have in our country. One is of course BJP and the second one is Congress and BJP. These two parties we are talking about. Now the thing is, all parties, right, when it comes to decision making, if you, I'm not sure how practically you know how things work in political parties, but if you see at grassroots level, then as well you will find that caste factor will take place. There are many people who are particularly youngsters, right? They are very much enthusiastic about making a positive change in our society and in our political life, and they do join different parties. But what they find is that their names are not taken on board when it comes to important elections because of caste factors, because of they cannot inject that much amount of money and things like that, even if they are hardworking and even if they are more knowledgeable in the sense, or even if they have some natural practical you can say skills of handling people. No doubt, one thing I must have to add here, that political parties are reflection of our society, right? So all the changes that we want to see in any political parties has to come from society. Now the thing is, if we see our country, right, here you can see a map of India, and roughly speaking I will give you a couple of examples, and I believe that would be enough for you to understand. If we start from the northern side, right, Jammu and Kashmir, then we have PDP. PDP party at present is in power, and then you have a party of Omar Abdullah. Both these parties, you know, their parents used to run the show here, and now their kids are basically the chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir has got the position because of her father. Then you come down a little bit, then you have Uttar Pradesh. Of course, now you have Yogi Adityanath, but you see other parties. Mayawati party is a sort of centric party, one woman show party, you can say. Then you have SP, Samajwadi Party, again belongs to Yadav family. Same thing applies in Bihar. If you come down a little bit, then you have in southern India we have AIADMK and DMK. This parties, right? AIADMK was now things have changed a little bit, but caste plays a very important role here. The other thing is that for a very long period of time, Jayalalitha was the main leader, or you can say the central figure of AIADMK. When it comes to DMK, again it is a family run party. Then you have West Bengal government, again a family run party. It's not only that, as you can see here, Yogi Adityanath is in BJP, and the examples that I have provided here, PDP is in partnership with BJP. So it's not only that I'm targeting opposition parties, right? Even in Uttar Pradesh election, you can see here many people or many MLAs, right? They got party ticket because they were coming from political background. Their parents used to be in BJP, or they were politically active, right? And here as well you can see BJP elected 14.49% MPs in terms of dynastic politics, right? 19.13 in 2009 and 14.89% in 2014. So you can clearly say that no political parties are 100% pure when it comes to internal democracy. Now, what are the best practices that we have around the world? Germany, they have certain conditions in nominating their candidates. Then in USA, you have laws that require secret ballots, and here as well in Germany as well, you find that secret voting takes place for promotion and for selection of candidates and things like that. Then around the world as well, you have many good examples from Britain, Spain, USA, Canada, and other places as well. With this, dear friends, it is a paradox, as you can see, right? In when it comes to representative of people, when we talk about our democracy, right? Then the political system, you have an electoral process, and everything is transparent, so to speak. But when it comes to political parties, things are not transparent. We don't know how decisions are taken, and this has a direct relationship with, or you can say that if political parties are not democratic, then it is going to have a very negative impact on our political life as well, as you can understand. The other things that are a bit problematic at present is that election winning has become the major, you can say, major criteria, or one of the main criteria to determine the success of political party. And within political party as well, only those people are elevated to higher position, though one who can you can say attract crowds, or those people who are better in raising funds, rather than those who are truly having leadership qualities and the people with people who can make real change in political setup. No doubt Narendra Modi's call for making political parties more democratic is a, you can say, a food for thought for everyone. But again, as I told you, it is the society. If unless and until we are not demanding this change from political parties, they are not going to change. Remember, political parties, they have to follow what is there in demand. Whatever the demand is, of course they will try to match it with the right supply. So it is on us to demand the right thing. With this, dear friends, two editorials, very quick one. We have talked about this thing earlier on as well, and as you can see here, we know that triple talaq, right? Supreme Court has made it illegal and unforeseeable. And if you go through Quran as well, then Quran clearly states that there is nothing like triple talaq. Of course, there is a proper method, but you give enough time. And what was happening in our country with a WhatsApp message or just verbal 3-time repeating triple talaq was being accepted as a divorce, and you can understand this creates a huge amount of problem at all different levels: psychological problem, societal problem, as well as economical problem for those women who are been forced this sort of triple talaq. Now central government, the cabinet recently approved that triple talaq, and it is going to place a bill which will criminalize triple talaq, and a person can be punished for 3 years imprisonment and fine. Now this editorial is saying that something that is civil wrong cannot be converted into a criminal act, isn't it? Of course, this Muslim Women Protection of Right on Marriage Bill 2017 is going to protect women, as we know the problems they do face because of this instant talaq, but that does not mean that you can convert this civil code into a sort of criminal code. We already have this section 498A of Indian Penal Code, and it protects women from domestic violence, and it includes all things like physical or mental cruelty, emotional and economic abuse, and things like that. So there is no point of putting these charges of they can be misused as well. As far as they are illegal and unforeseeable, there is no point of making this thing as a criminal act. Right, moving on to another item. This is about a measured leap. You know, remember many times I have said this thing that every time we do something as a human beings, right? Say for example, mission on Mars. The first mission on Mars, may it be of USA or India, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it is a leapfrog. It is a big jump for humanity, because if we go back in the history, then we humans used to live in caves, isn't it? We were hunter-gatherers, but now we are reaching in different planets, and this itself is a big jump for humanity, and something like that is being said at the end of this article as well. Now scientists have announced that they have discovered 2 exoplanets that are a bit similar to our Earth, Kepler 90I and Kepler 80. Many times you find this sort of questions, right? So please pay attention to the items that are given here. Kepler 90I is a planet, and the star or the sun of this planet is Kepler 90. So 90I is your planet and 90 is the sun of this Kepler 90I. In the same way, you have this Kepler 80G, which is a planet, and Kepler 80 is the star or the sun. As I'm sure you know that the sun is also a star. So far we have found 3,567 exoplanets which are a bit similar to our Earth, and the reason why this article is printed, or one of the things that you can take away, is the use of artificial intelligence. The errors that we used to make as human beings, naturally we do make errors, right? So of course it is the responsibility of science, right? When I say responsibility, I mean to say that if we apply good methods, good operations, right, and if we take science as a sort of with open mind, then we can get rid of all the errors that we can make. And something like this has been done by scientists here, right? What they have done is they have deployed artificial intelligence, and this is eliminating the mistakes that we used to make. When I say mistakes, I mean to say that scientific mistakes in calculation and things like that. We are not going too technical in this thing, because of course we are preparing for general studies, isn't it, for current affairs and general studies. And here you have to have just a general understanding of how things are working. You don't have to get PhD in each and everything that is discussed in your which is all the topics that are given in as your syllabus for general studies, and this applies to all different exams. As far as your optional subject is concerned, of course you should have some expert knowledge on that subject. So here I would like to clarify this thing. I believe that this will work as a sort of hint or tip as well regarding how to prepare. So this good science not only solves problems but also can take a hard look at itself, at where and how it can improve, and something like that has been done by introduction of artificial intelligence. And with the help of this thing, we are able to understand space in a bit more, you can say, comprehensive way. So this is a leap for humankind, a measured leap. That's what has been said by this editorial. With this, dear friends, this one is about the crisis of globalization. Again, a very important topic. If you ask me, then this would be the second most important topic of today. The first one is, of course, this internal democracy of political parties. The second one is about globalization. Now we know that many countries at present, they are anti-globalization, particularly, you know, USA, the elevation or the election of US President Donald Trump as the president of USA. One of the main reason it is said that is because he promised that he will protect jobs in USA, and he will create a wall, and he will not allow foreigners to take away or snatch away the jobs that are meant for the people of USA. And this has created a wave around the world, and there are many countries at present, some European countries, they are also trying to copy paste or have a replica model of Trump in their country as well, and one of them is Britain. Now let's see what it has got. Now see, if you go back in the history as well, then you will find that when we innovated some products, right, earthen pots, or art of making gunpowder, or silk, or naval expertise, right, all these things led to globalization. Because of these things, different cultures came in touch with each other, and today we are living in a world that is you can say globalized world. If you observe your life as well, then you will find that many products and services that you are using would be coming from different parts of the world, isn't it? You'd be using a phone that is made in China. The components of that particular phone or the raw material would be coming from India or any other country. Then the company of that phone would be an American or European company, or maybe Indian company, right? These are just some examples. You can check your computer and other things that are around you. Even the books that you are reading would be of foreign publication. So today we are living in a truly global world, and the things that we have achieved as human beings today, whatever things, or the positive things or negative things, you can say that it is coming out of globalization. No doubt there are many benefits as well of this thing, but the changes that we are seeing now, we are living in a world of rapid change, isn't it? That earlier on, you know that you work in a company or in one industry throughout your life, and things would be as it is, right? You will see very gradual changes in the way things used to be. But now you know that if you think that you want to be a driver of a car, or if you learn to drive a car, then in future driving skills would be of no use, because yesterday we talked about this driverless subway in China, isn't it? And you know it very well that you have to be technically qualified. It's not as easy to drive a car than to be a driver of a tram or a train or a subway. It requires a bit of education as well as skill and training. But in future, this sort of jobs may go away. But of course, new jobs will come in, and then this sort of things have created, this rapid change has created a division. You have on one side, you have winners who have benefited out of this changes, and then you have losers who are losing because of the changes that we have. And this is one of the main reason why Donald Trump was elected. It is as per this article, it is said that it is a sort of revenge of the losers, the people who were not able to swap or change themselves. When I say change, I'm not saying negatively. I mean to say that they were not able to adopt the changes that were taking place in the market, and because of this thing they were losing, and they were not happy about this thing. So a person who was promising, or who is in fact promising that he is going to keep the status quo as it is, changes will not be welcomed and things like that. So that's why we got Donald Trump, and one of the main reason is of Brexit is also something similar. Now, two important statements that you can take away from this article is that technological innovations are what accelerate the rhythm of change, isn't it? The new technologies will accelerate the rhythm of change. And the second one is that it is the transformation of technology that affects society, not whatever that technology delivers. So it's not important what you get from or what is being delivered by that technology. It is the transformation of technology that affects the society. Now, regarding this globalization, if we see USA president is saying that he does not want this globalization, and he wants to create this firewall and things like that. But American companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, at present they are one of the richest corporations in the world, and they are thriving as well. And not only them, other global companies, multinational corporations are doing quite well. And this indicates that globalization is going to stay here. This is, you can say, gist of this article. What you can take away is that global companies are thriving, multinational companies are thriving, they are doing quite good, and this itself indicates that anti-globalization is not going to succeed. This one would be the third one, third most important. And when I say most important, I mean to say that you should pay attention, reread this notes, right? Reread this notes. If you have to, then go through this discussion again. There is no harm in it if you don't understand it in the first go, then because every one of you would be at different level, and I try to make things as simple as possible. And when I am talking with you guys, I have to, you know, keep a fine balance. I have to ensure that the person who is pro in all these things does not get bored, and I have to also keep in mind the person who has just started preparing this preparation. So this is a bit of challenging thing, but anyways, as far as I am being helpful to you, it is something that is making more than happy. So this one is the third most important article, and it is talking about India and our human resources. Now, you know it very well that nearly 65% of our population is under the age of 35 years, and average age of our country is 29 years, which is not bad at all. So we can safely say that we are the youngest country in the world, one of the youngest country in the world, isn't it? Now, what you have, or what is the thing what are the things that are associated with youthfulness? You know, people have dreams, they have many things to achieve in life. They want a good career, good money, good car, and other things. Youth are the one who would be spending after clothes and all these things, right? So they are basically, you can say, they are driving the demand in the market, isn't it? Of course, babies as well, they require many products, but it is the youth, because they have just started making money and they would be looking for new house and things like that. So I hope this thing is clear. So this matters a lot when you have a younger population. But the things that are not in our favor is that our education system is not top of the range. Our boys and girls, when we compare them with other countries, then we find that, particularly developed countries and many a times other developing countries as well, then we find that we are lacking in skills and employment. I'm talking about not everyone. I'm not saying that each and everyone falls in this category, but I can safely say that most of us are falling in this category, right? Of course, things are changing as well, but at the same time, the opportunities that can be grabbed by us are being taken away by other countries like Vietnam and other ASEAN countries. They are a big competition for us, because you know, this business process outsourcing, that was a big thing in our country, that was creating huge amount of jobs. Now it has gone away from us, or it is slowly going away from us, and it has been taken over by ASEAN countries. One of the main reason is these three things here, and we have this skill development mission, which is not bad. The thinking is in right direction, but the problem with this skill development mission is that it is training those boys and girls who are drop out from school. First thing. The second thing is that if we go through the outcome of this or the things that we are, or the final result that we are getting from this skill development mission, then the thing is after once you are given your training and everything, once you have completed your training under this skill development mission, within 1 year you will be out of your job as well. So initially you will find a job, but it is seen that most of them, they do lose their job as well. The other thing is that it is focusing only on job rather than career. So what about, of course you get a job, it's a good thing, but what about your career? Do you want to stick in that job and that salary without any progress or growth? No one would like to live that life, isn't it? So what about career? This thing is missed by this skill development program. The other thing is that we have failed to integrate this skill initiative with our education system. We have talked about this thing, and I'm sure it is easy for all of you to understand that unless and until we don't integrate this skill development with our education, we are not going to see long-term positive results. And for that we have this Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, which is integrating this skill development with education, but again it is, you can say, more of a standardized program rather than being customized. When I say customized, I mean to say standardized. I mean to say that one size fits all, and customized thing is basically you change the pattern or design of the things that you are going to learn under this Rashtriya mission. Ideally it should be customized, because our country is a very diverse country, right? The things that you can produce in Gujarat, you cannot produce it in Assam, and in Assam you know that you have a huge amount of opportunities in tourism, right? So over there this program should be more service oriented, and in other states, in Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra or Gujarat, it should be more you can say production based or manufacturing based programs, right? So these things should be taken on board, and the way we teach our students, it should be like a hobby rather than making it more serious trade. And you know, it should add a bit of fun thing as well in it, how we can create interest of our young minds in skill development. The other thing is that we are also lacking in infrastructure, qualified teachers, and the training hours that are given under this Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan is also very less. So this thing should be taken on board when we are planning or during our strategic planning period, and only then we would be able to reap dividend, this demographic dividend. With this, dear friends, we now reach to news item. Hamid Karzai, he was here in India. He was president of Afghanistan, former president of Afghanistan. He met Narendra Modi, and he said that India should rethink its support to USA, because we know it very well that USA on one side, USA is not happy about Pakistan, and it is telling Pakistan that they will take this and they will take strict actions against Pakistan if they are not sorting out this terrorism problem and things like that. But on the other side, what we see is Pakistan, this USA is giving or passing this defense authorization bill, which will give $700 million to Pakistan. So it is a sort of a game that you can say USA is playing, right? So this is something that India should question to USA, that why they are having this sort of two sides. This is something that has been expressed by Hamid Karzai. With this, dear friends, you know, this thing is in news. Forest fire in California. Now, many times we feel that this is because of climate change. Of course, it is because of climate change, whether it is bad or good. Now, there are many articles that are talking about that this is a bad thing, we should do something about our climate and things like that. And there are some people associated experts, they are saying that it is a way of nature to balance the changes that are taking place. So we have both sides, right? Good side and bad side. So in future, whenever you see or come across any articles that are either saying good or bad about these forest fires and things like that, then you should keep them in your mind. The point should be there in your mind, because this will help you in answer writing. With this, dear friends, we have I'm sure all of us know this thing, that result is going to be out for Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh today. So news channels today, all you will see is advertisements and numbers. These are the two things that will be visible in today's news channels. Particularly some of them they will do repetitive things, and anyways, let's leave those things and focus on this one, flora and fauna. You find this sort of questions nowadays because of climate change again, and the way we are losing flora and fauna. Many species are lost, and here is a very interesting species of frog. They are known as bush frogs, and you find them only in Western Ghats. The other word of only in Western Ghats, or you can say the species that you find only, is endemic, right? And they are endemic to Western Ghats, Agastya Hill, that are in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So please keep this thing in mind, very important. And they breed inside this hollow bamboo stems. So this is a uniqueness of this frog species. Moving on to another item, doklam. We talked about doklam yesterday as well when we were talking about chicken's neck, and it is in news again. China has deployed some more troops in this doklam area. We know that after much effort, we have sorted out both sides, right? Or you can say all three sides, Bhutan as well. So things were peaceful, but now again a bit of rhetoric is been observed. So let's see how things turn up with this, dear friends. USA's decision to recognize Israel's capital city, Jerusalem, as Israel's capital city will be discussed in United Nations Security Council, and a draft resolution will be taken on board today that will reject the claim of USA. Again, you know that in United Nations Security Council, USA has veto power. So let's see. And it is also observed that when it comes to protecting this veto power, all 5 countries, all these P5s are always on one board. They are protecting or looking after each other's back, because all of them want to keep this veto power with them. And now Russia and USA, very rarely you find this sort of news. Russian president has called the US president, and he has thanked him for providing input regarding a terrorist attack that was going to take place in St. Petersburg. This is a good thing, right? We want this sort of intelligence sharing between different powers, and of course we need Russia and USA on one page when it comes to fighting terrorism. Talking about terrorism, very sad news coming from Balochistan. Church was attacked by a suicide bomber, right? And nearly 8 people have lost their lives, and 30 have injured. As you can see here, there were kids as well in this church, and Suresh Prabhu has said that this is the first time that we are not blamed for the WTO failure. And we know our stand. We have talked about this thing quite a lot, so I'm not going into detail. Food security and this sort of things were opposed by developed countries, and we have stood to our ground. With this, foreign funds have been coming in Indian capital markets, and here you can see a net inflow of more than 30 billion took place this year. And here is basically rupee, 2 lakh rupee, right? And Indian stock market, we can safely say that it is considered as most favored destination. With this, dear friends, Udan scheme can create a sort of money crunch, fund crunch for aviation ministry. With this, you have today's question. Union budget is always presented first in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, joint session of Parliament or Union Cabinet. Second question, the strength of UPSC is determined by President, Parliament, permanently fixed by constitution or was determined by presidential ordinance in 1952. And the third one is establishment of NABARD was recommended by which committee? Narsimhan Committee, Chakravarti Committee, Abhijit Sen Committee, or Sivaraman Committee. And identify the person that you can see on your screen. With this, dear friends, I end the discussion of the day. I hope things are clear to you now. I will share this file on my Facebook page, which is Prashant T. Mavani. Of course, I will share it on our Telegram channel as well. If you want to join our Telegram channel, then you will find a link in the description of this video. With this, dear friends, don't forget to check out StudyIQ.com for pen drive and tablet courses. Many videos are there on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe and check all those videos out, those videos that are important for you and your preparation. And I was also request all of you to please share this lecture with other people too. I'm ending this discussion. I will see you all soon. Till then, enjoy your studies and Jai Hind.